The champagne bottle didn't break when it hit the floor, but I did. My husband had just told me he'd already filed for divorce. Past tense, already done. And I was standing in our living room holding takeout food and a celebration bottle, feeling like the stupidest woman alive. 6 years. 6 years of 70-hour work weeks, of missing birthdays and anniversaries, of promising it'll get better soon. And this was my reward? An ultimatum delivered on the best day of my professional life? Turn down the VP position and become a shell of myself, or take it and lose my husband forever. He called it a choice. Called it a trap. And I had less than 3 days to figure out if there was a third option neither of us had considered. My husband forced me to choose between my career and our marriage. The night I got the promotion that should have changed my life, my husband handed me divorce papers and an ultimatum that destroyed everything I thought I knew about love, ambition, and who I really was. I'll never forget that Tuesday evening. My hands were literally trembling as I parallel parked outside our brownstone in Brooklyn. After 6 brutal years of sacrificing everything, my sleep, my friendships, my health, and apparently my marriage, I'd finally made it. Vice President of Operations at Meridian Tech. At 32, I was the youngest VP in the company's history, beating out candidates with 15 years more experience than me. The promotion came with everything I'd dreamed of. A $280,000 salary, substantial equity, a corner office, and a team of 23 people reporting directly to me. I'd be overseeing 3 major product launches and managing a $50 million budget. This was it. This was the moment that made every sacrifice worth it. I stopped at our favorite Thai restaurant and splurged on everything Daniel loved. Pad CW Massaman curry, those coconut rice balls he always ordered. I grabbed a $200 bottle of champagne from the wine store. My credit card was nearly maxed out, but who cared? This promotion meant we'd finally be financially comfortable. We could start looking at bigger apartments. Maybe even think about that house in Westchester Daniel had been dreaming about. When I walked through our front door at 7:45 p.m., Daniel was sitting in the living room. Not on his laptop, not watching TV, just sitting there in the dark. The only light came from the street lamp outside, casting strange shadows across his face. "Daniel!" I called out, my voice bright with excitement. "You're home early. Perfect timing because you absolutely will not believe what happened today. We need to talk, Sarah." Those 4 words, spoken in that flat, emotionless tone. I'd heard them in movies, read them in books, but nothing prepares you for hearing them in real life from the person you married. The Thai food suddenly felt heavy in my hands. Okay. But first let me just tell you I got it. The VP position. They announced it this morning and Daniel, the whole executive team stood up and applauded. Can you believe? I want a divorce. The bag slipped from my fingers. I heard the champagne bottle hit the hardwood floor but not break. Everything seemed to happen in slow motion. What? He stood up, and that's when I saw the manila envelope on the coffee table. The kind lawyers use. The kind that holds documents that end marriages. "I've already filed," he said, his voice still eerily calm. "My lawyer says you'll be served officially in a few days, but I wanted to tell you in person. I wanted to give you one chance before this becomes real." My legs felt weak. I grabbed the doorframe for support. "Daniel, what are you talking about? What's happening? Did something happen at work? Are you sick? Is this some kind of—" "I'm giving you a choice," he interrupted. "You can turn down that promotion, step back to a normal job with normal hours, and commit to actually being present in this marriage. Or you can take the promotion and I file these papers tomorrow morning. Those are your options." I stared at him like he'd grown a second head. "You're giving me an ultimatum? On the biggest day of my career, you're making me choose between—" "Yes," he said simply, "because I can't do this anymore. I won't." We stood there in that darkening room, and I felt like I was watching our marriage crumble in real time. "How long have you been planning this?" I asked, my voice shaking. 3 months. "Since you missed my father's funeral." The words hit me like a physical blow. I didn't miss his funeral. I was there for the service. "You showed up for 45 minutes, Sarah. 45 minutes. You sat in the back, you left before the reception. And when I called you that night because I was falling apart, you were in a meeting. You said you'd call me back and you didn't. For 6 hours. My dad was dead, and you couldn't step out of a meeting." Tears started streaming down my face. There was a crisis at work. The servers crashed, and we were losing thousands of dollars per minute. "There's always a crisis," he said, and now his voice was rising. "There's always something more important than me. Than us. Your career has been the third person in this marriage since the day we got back from our honeymoon, and I'm done competing with it. That's not fair, I shot back. You knew who I was when you married me. You knew I was ambitious. You said you loved that about me. You said you wanted a partner who was driven and independent. I wanted a partner who was driven, yes. Not a workaholic who's never home. Not someone who schedules sex on her calendar and then cancels it because of a conference call. Not someone who forgot my birthday last year. I didn't forget your birthday. You texted me HBD at 11:47 p.m., Sarah. From the office. I'd made reservations at that Italian place you love. I got dressed up. I waited for 2 hours before I accepted you weren't coming. You didn't even notice I was upset the next day. I opened my mouth to defend myself, but the memory came flooding back. He was right. He'd been quiet that entire weekend, and I'd been too preoccupied with the upcoming board presentation to ask why. How many times have I asked you to come to bed? He continued. How many times have you promised you'd be done with work in 10 minutes, and I wake up at 3 a.m. and you're still at your laptop? How many vacations have you canceled? How many dinners with my family have you skipped? How many times have I told you I was lonely, and you've told me things would slow down soon? They will slow down, I insisted. That's what this promotion means. I'll finally have a team to delegate to. I won't have to do everything myself. That's what you said about the last promotion, he interrupted. And the one before that. Each time you promised it would get better and each time it got worse. You're not going to suddenly work less as a VP, Sarah. You're going to work more. You're going to have more responsibility, more pressure, more demands on your time. And I'm going to be even more alone than I already am. I sank onto the couch, my whole body shaking. So what do you want from me? You want me to just throw away 6 years of work? You want me to tell them sorry, I can't be VP because my husband is jealous of my success? His face darkened. This isn't about jealousy. This is about you being so obsessed with proving yourself that you've forgotten how to be a human being. When was the last time you called your mom? When was the last time you saw your sister? When was the last time you did anything that wasn't work-related? I see my family. Your mom called me last week, he said quietly. She asked if you were okay because you haven't returned her calls in 3 weeks. Your sister told me she gave up inviting you to things because you always cancel. Your best friend from college? She texted me on your birthday because she said you didn't respond to her message. Everyone in your life has learned that you're not available anymore. Everyone except you. I don't remember Daniel leaving. I don't remember much about the hours that followed. I sat on that couch in the dark, the Thai food growing cold on the floor, the champagne still in its bag. At some point I opened my laptop. Muscle memory, I guess. I had 17 new emails, including one from my new boss outlining the transition plan. I stared at the screen but the words blurred together. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. I'm at Mike's. You have until Friday to decide. I love you, Sarah, but I love myself too much to keep living like this. I called my sister Emma. It was 11:30 p.m., but she answered on the second ring. Sarah? What's wrong? And I told her everything. The promotion, the ultimatum, the divorce papers. She was quiet for a long moment. What are you going to do? I don't know, I sobbed. He's being completely unreasonable. He's asking me to choose between him and everything I've worked for. Sarah, stop. Her tone shocked me into silence. I need to tell you something, she said. And you're not going to like it. But someone needs to say it because everyone's been tiptoeing around you for years. What are you talking about? Last year at Mom's 60th birthday party. Do you remember what happened? Of course. I was there. You were there for 23 minutes, she said. I timed it. You showed up late, you spent 15 of those minutes on your phone in the hallway, and then you left. Mom cried after you left. She actually cried, Sarah, because her daughter couldn't spare 2 hours for her birthday. I felt sick. And at Christmas? You sat at the table with your laptop open. During dinner. While Dad was saying grace, you were typing. When Tommy asked you to play with him, your nephew who worships you, you said maybe later, and never looked up from your screen. Emma, that was the merger. I had to. You always have to. There's always something. And we've all just accepted it because we didn't want to make you feel bad. But Daniel, he has to live with it every day. He has to sleep next to someone who treats him like a roommate. He has to introduce you as his wife when everyone knows you're married to your job. Whose side are you on? I asked angrily. Yours, she said firmly. That's exactly why I'm telling you this. Because you're not happy, Sarah. You think you are, but you're not. You look exhausted all the time. You've lost weight. You're stressed constantly. You snap at people. You're achieving all these incredible things, but you're miserable. And you've been miserable for years, but you won't admit it. I'm not miserable. When was the last time you laughed? Really laughed? When was the last time you did something just for fun? When was the last time you felt joy that wasn't related to a work achievement? I couldn't answer. Daniel is giving you an ultimatum, yes? Emma continued. And maybe that's not the healthiest way to handle it. But Sarah, he's been telling you how unhappy he is for years, and you haven't listened. This is his last resort. And honestly, think he's right. I think you need to step back and figure out who you are outside of your career. Because the sister I grew up with, the one who used to paint and go hiking and host dinner parties and read poetry, she's gone. And I miss her. Part 4. The research. I couldn't sleep that night. At 2 a.m. I found myself going through our photos. Years and years of memories stored on my phone and laptop. 5 years ago, our wedding. I looked so happy, so full of hope. Daniel looked at me like I was the only person in the world. 4 years ago, our honeymoon in Greece. Photos of us laughing on the beach, dancing at a taverna, watching the sunset from Santorini. 3 years ago, the photos started to change. Fewer of us together. More of me at work events, conferences, office parties. 2 years ago, I noticed something disturbing. In every photo where we were together, I was looking at my phone. Thanksgiving dinner, phone in hand. Our anniversary, phone on the table. His company holiday party, phone pressed to my ear. 1 year ago, there were barely any photos of us at all. I opened my calendar and started analyzing it like a project at work. Over the past 6 months, I'd worked an average of 68 hours per week. I'd canceled personal plans 23 times. I'd worked every single weekend. I'd taken 0 vacation days. I'd missed 14 family events. Daniel and I had spent quality time together exactly 4 times in 6 months. I pulled out my old journals, the ones I'd kept religiously from age 15 until about 3 years ago. I flipped through pages of dreams, goals, reflections. I found an entry from the week before I started at Meridian Tech. I'm so excited about this opportunity, but I'm also scared. I don't want to become one of those people who loses themselves in their career. I don't want to wake up at 50 and realize I missed my life. I want success, yes, but I want balance too. I want to build something meaningful at work and have a rich personal life. I want both. I refuse to accept that women have to choose. Tears dripped onto the page, smudging the ink. When had I forgotten that version of myself? When had balance become a dirty word? When had I started wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor? Part 5. The Awakening. Wednesday morning, I did something I hadn't done in 3 years. Called in sick. I spent the day retracing my steps, trying to understand how I'd gotten here. I called my doctor and got my medical records. The facts were startling. My blood pressure had increased steadily over 3 years. I'd gained 25 pounds from stress eating and lack of exercise. I'd been prescribed anxiety medication. My doctor had noted patient shows signs of burnout. In multiple appointments, I pulled my financial records. Despite my increasing salary, we weren't any better off financially. Why? Because I spent money to make up for my absence. Expensive gifts for Daniel's birthday because I couldn't give him time. Premium meal delivery services because I never cooked. A cleaning service, a laundry service, expensive takeout every night. I was making great money and spending it all on trying to maintain a life I was never present for. I called my therapist, the one I'd been meaning to schedule with for 8 months, and begged for an emergency session. She squeezed me in that afternoon. "Tell me about your typical day," she said. I walked her through it. Wake at 5:30, check emails in bed. Shower while listening to work podcasts, grab coffee and breakfast bar. In the office by 7 o'clock, meetings until 1 o'clock, work through lunch, more meetings, deep work until 7 or 8, dinner at my desk or on the way home, more work until midnight, sleep, repeat. "When do you see your husband?" she asked. "We live together," I said defensively. "That's not what I asked." I didn't have an answer. "Sarah, I'm going to be direct with you," she said. "You're exhibiting classic signs of addiction. Work addiction. It's as real as alcoholism or drug addiction. And it's destroying your life just as effectively." "I'm not an addict," I protested. "I'm just driven. I have goals. Driven people have balance. Driven people know when to stop. Addicts don't. Tell me, can you go a full day without checking your email?" "Well, no, but can you take a vacation without working?" "That's not realistic in my position." "Can you sit through a meal without your phone?" I was quiet. "Can you be present with your husband without thinking about work?" Sometimes, I whispered. How often? Rarely. She leaned forward. Sarah, I'm not judging you. I'm trying to help you see what you can't see. You're using work to avoid dealing with other parts of your life. Work gives you clear metrics for success. You can measure your performance, get immediate feedback, feel accomplished. Personal relationships are messy and complicated, and you can't control them the way you can control a spreadsheet or a project timeline. So what are you saying? I'm saying your husband is right. And your ultimatum isn't really about choosing between career and marriage. It's about choosing between continuing down a path that's killing you or finding a healthier way to live. Part 6. The confrontation. Thursday evening. Daniel came home to get more clothes. I was waiting for him. I need to tell you something, I said. And I need you to just listen. He hesitated, then nodded. You were right. About all of it. I've been using work to avoid dealing with real life. I've been so focused on external validation, on proving I'm successful, that I forgot to actually live. I've been absent. I've been a terrible wife, a terrible daughter, a terrible sister, a terrible friend. And worst of all, I didn't even realize it because I was so convinced I was doing the right thing. He sat down slowly. But here's what I need you to understand, I continued. The ultimatum, it's not fair either. Because you're asking me to choose between two false options. You're saying either I give up my ambitions completely or I lose you. But that's not a real choice. That's just trading one extreme for another. Sarah, please let me finish. I don't want to turn down the promotion, but I also don't want to lose you. And I've spent the last 2 days trying to figure out if that makes me selfish or if there's actually a way to have both. And I think there is, but it requires both of us to change, not just me. He looked surprised. What do you mean? I mean, I need to completely restructure how I work. I need to set real boundaries, get therapy, learn how to delegate, and stop measuring my worth by how many hours I work. But you also need to stop seeing my ambition as the enemy. You need to believe that I can be successful and present. You need to be willing to work with me on finding balance instead of just demanding I quit. I never said you should quit. You said turn down the promotion and go back to a normal 9 to 5. Daniel, I'm a VP. There's no going back to a normal job without basically destroying my career. What you're really asking is for me to give up on being successful. And I can't do that. I won't. His jaw tightened. So what are you saying? You're choosing the job. No, I said firmly. I'm saying I'm choosing to stop accepting false choices. I'm choosing to fight for both. And I'm asking you to fight with me instead of against me. We talked for 6 hours straight that night. Really talked, maybe for the first time in years. Daniel told me about the nights he'd cried himself to sleep, feeling like a stranger in his own marriage. He told me about the times he'd wanted to tell me about his day, and I'd been too distracted to listen. He told me about the pressure I felt constantly, the voice in my head that said I had to work harder than everyone else to be taken seriously. I told him about the fear that if I slowed down even a little, I'd lose everything I'd worked for. I think I've been scared, I admitted. Scared that if I'm not constantly achieving, I'm not valuable. Scared that if I'm just me, without the titles and accomplishments, I'm not enough. You've always been enough, Daniel said quietly. The woman I fell in love with, she was brilliant and funny and passionate about life, not just about work. That's who I want back. Not someone who's given up on her dreams, but someone who remembers that her dreams included more than just a career. I want that too, I whispered. But I'm scared I've forgotten how to be that person. Then we'll figure it out together, he said. But Sarah, I need real changes. Not promises. Not things will slow down soon. Real concrete changes. So we made a plan. A real one with specifics. I would accept the promotion but immediately negotiate for an assistant VP to share the workload. I would work with HR to establish clear boundaries. No emails after 7 p.m. or before 7 a.m. No working on weekends except in true emergencies. I would start therapy twice a week to address the work addiction. We would go to couples counseling weekly. I would schedule regular date nights. And if I canceled more than once per quarter, I'd donate $1,000 to a charity of Daniel's choice. Financial accountability because I understood that money motivated me. I would take a real vacation within the next 2 months. We would revisit this plan every month to assess how it was working. And if I slip? I asked. If old patterns come back? Then we deal with it, he said. But Sarah, I need you to understand something. This is your last chance. I'm not going to keep having this conversation. If you take the promotion and nothing changes, I'm filing those papers. I'm not bluffing. I know, I said. And I'm not asking you to trust me based on past behavior. I'm asking you to trust me based on future actions. Judge me by what I do from here, not by what I've done before. He pulled the divorce papers out of his bag and tore them in half. Okay, let's try. Friday morning, I went to my boss's office and had the hardest conversation of my professional life. I need to talk to you about the VP position, I said. Her face fell. Oh no. Sarah, if this is about compensation, I'm sure we can. It's not about money, I interrupted. I want the position, but I need to make some changes to how it's structured. I laid out my proposal. I would take the VP role, but I wanted to bring in an assistant VP immediately to share the responsibilities. I wanted a clear delineation of duties so that we could cover for each other. I wanted it written into my contract that except for true emergencies, I would maintain work-life boundaries. I'm going to be honest with you, I said. I've been working unsustainably, and it's caught up with me. My marriage is on the line. My health is suffering, and I've realized that the way I've been working, I'm heading for a major burnout that will hurt both me and this company. I want to do this job and I want to do it well, but I need to do it in a way that's sustainable. I held my breath, waiting for her to rescind the offer. Instead, she smiled. Thank you for being honest. And I agree completely. You do. Sarah, you're brilliant at what you do. But I've been worried about you for months. You're the kind of employee who will work yourself to death if we let you, and that's not good for anyone. I'd much rather have you at 80% capacity for 10 years than at 120% for 2 years. Before you burn out and quit. So you'll approve the assistant VP position? I'll do you one better. I'll approve it, and I'll also make sure your contract includes protected time off. I don't want you working weekends. I don't want you answering emails at midnight. I want you sharp and strategic, and you can't be those things if you're exhausted. I almost cried with relief. There's something else, she continued. We're rolling out a new initiative about sustainable leadership. We've been losing too many talented people to burnout. You could be the pilot case. Show us how to structure senior roles in a way that allows for actual work-life balance. I'd like that, I said. The first month was brutal. Not because the work was hard, but because breaking old habits felt impossible. The first time my phone buzzed at 8 p.m. and I didn't check it, I felt physically anxious. The first weekend I didn't work. I paced around the apartment like a caged animal. The first time I left the office at 6:30 with work still undone, I nearly turned around 3 times. But Daniel noticed, and that made it easier. You came home, he'd say, like it was a miracle. And at first it felt like one. We started cooking together. Badly at first, we'd both forgotten how. We burned pasta, overcooked chicken, created some truly questionable stir-fries. But we laughed. Actually laughed. I'd forgotten how much I loved Daniel's laugh. We started talking about things that weren't logistics. Not just did you pay the electric bill? Or what time will you be home? But real conversations about books we wanted to read, places we wanted to travel, dreams we put on hold. Therapy was harder than I expected. My therapist made me keep a journal of my thoughts and feelings throughout the day. I realized I'd been using work as a numbing agent the same way someone might use alcohol or drugs. Whenever I felt anxious or inadequate or scared, I worked. Work was my escape, my validation, my identity. Who are you without your job title? My therapist asked one day. I couldn't answer. That's what we need to work on, she said gently. Couples therapy brought up painful truths. Daniel admitted he'd been resenting me for years, but hadn't known how to express it. I admitted I'd been dismissing his concerns because acknowledging them would mean admitting I had a problem. I think part of me knew I was doing something unsustainable, I told him in one session. But I couldn't stop, because if I stopped, I'd have to face the fact that I wasn't actually as happy as I pretended to be. Are you happy now? He asked. I'm getting there, I said honestly. 2 months in, I had my first major setback. Product launch went wrong, badly wrong. The kind of disaster that required all hands on deck, round-the-clock work, crisis management. My old instincts kicked in immediately. I was ready to cancel everything, move into the office, work 20-hour days until we fixed it. Daniel saw it happening. Sarah, no. This is different, I said, already opening my laptop at 10 p.m. This is a real emergency. If we don't fix this, the company could lose millions. You have a team, he said. You have an assistant VP. You have people whose job it is to handle this. But I'm the VP. I'm responsible. You're responsible for leading, not for doing everything yourself. That's the whole point of what you've been working on. I wanted to argue. Every fiber of my being wanted to fall back into old patterns. But I forced myself to stop and think. I called my assistant VP. I need you to take lead on the crisis management. I'll be available for strategic decisions and I'll come in early tomorrow, but you've got point on this. Are you sure? She asked. No, I admitted. But I need to trust you. Can you handle it? Yes, she said confidently. I didn't sleep well that night. I checked my phone obsessively, but I didn't go into the office. I didn't take over. I let my team do their jobs. By morning they'd resolved 80% of the issues. They'd handled it, without me micromanaging every detail. How do you feel? Daniel asked as I got ready for work. Terrified, I admitted, but also, maybe a little relieved. He hugged me. That's progress. 6 months after that night with the divorce papers, Daniel and I sat down for our monthly check-in. How are we doing? He asked. I pulled out the data because of course I'd been tracking it. In the past 6 months, I'd worked an average of 47 hours per week, down from 68. I'd canceled personal plans twice, down from 23. We'd been on 3 vacations. We'd had date night 31 times. I'd attended every family event. My blood pressure was back to normal. I'd lost 15 pounds. I hadn't needed anxiety medication in 3 months. The numbers look good, Daniel said. But how do you feel? That was the question, wasn't it? Honestly, some days I still struggle. Some days I still want to work late or check my email obsessively. Some days I still measure my worth by my productivity. But I paused trying to find the right words. But I also feel lighter. I feel more like myself. I actually enjoy my life now instead of just enduring it. Do you regret taking the promotion? He asked. No, I said firmly. Because I'm doing it differently. I'm proving that you can be successful without destroying yourself. My team is strong. My projects are on track. And I'm actually a better leader now because I'm not burned out. And us? He asked softly. Us, I repeated. Daniel, 6 months ago, I couldn't tell you the last time I felt connected to you. Now, I feel like I'm married to my best friend again. I feel like we're partners. I feel like we're building a life together instead of just existing in the same space. He smiled and it reached his eyes for the first time in years. Me too. A few weeks later, something happened that crystallized everything for me. We were having dinner at my parents' house, something I'd actually been doing regularly. My mom was telling a story about my childhood, about how I used to spend hours building elaborate fairy houses in the backyard. You were so creative, she said. So imaginative. You'd make up whole worlds. I'd forgotten about that, I said. You forgot a lot of things, my sister Emma said, but she was smiling. You forgot how to have fun. But you're remembering now. Last week when we went to the art museum together, that was the first time in years you've seemed relaxed. It was true. I'd started painting again badly, but that wasn't the point. I'd started reading fiction again. I joined a book club. I'd remembered that I was a person with interests beyond work. On the drive home, Daniel said, I'm proud of you. For what? For choosing yourself. That's really what you did, you know? You didn't choose career or marriage. You chose to be a whole person instead of a one-dimensional work machine. I thought about that. He was right. The old me had believed that success meant sacrifice. That to get ahead, you had to give up everything else. That work-life balance was a myth, something weak people used as an excuse. The new me understood that success without happiness is just dressed-up misery. That ambition is healthy but obsession is destructive. That you can be driven and balanced, successful and present, accomplished and human. A year after that night with the divorce papers, Daniel and I renewed our vows. Not in a big ceremony. Just us, an officiant, and a small gathering of close family and friends at a restaurant. I'd written new vows. A year ago you forced me to choose. And I was angry because I thought you were making me pick between my dreams and our love. But you weren't. You were making me realize that I'd lost sight of what really mattered. You were giving me permission to stop running on a treadmill I'd built for myself. I promised to be present. I promised to remember that my worth isn't measured in promotions or achievements. I promised to build a life with you, not just a career. I promised to keep choosing us every single day, in small ways and big ones. Thank you for loving me enough to tell me the hard truth. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for believing I could change. Daniel's vows made me cry. A year ago, I gave you an ultimatum. And I've spent months wondering if that was the right thing to do. But watching you transform, watching you find yourself again, I know it was. Not because you needed to be fixed, but because you needed to be freed. I promise to support your ambitions while also reminding you to live your life. I promise to celebrate your successes without letting them become your only identity. I promise to be honest with you, even when it's hard. I promise to be your partner in building a life that's full and rich and meaningful. As we left the restaurant that night, I got a notification on my phone. A work email. Something that would have consumed me a year ago. I glanced at it, sent a quick delegation message to my team, and put my phone away. "Everything okay?" Daniel asked. "Everything's perfect," I said. And I meant it. I'm still VP of Operations. I'm still ambitious. I'm still driven. But now I'm also a wife, a sister, a daughter, a friend. I'm someone who paints and reads and laughs and lives. The woman who thought she had to choose between career and marriage was wrong. The woman who thought success required total sacrifice was wrong. The woman I am now knows that the only choice that matters is the choice to be whole. And that makes all the difference.